What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dad, You're Wrong. I am your host, Cam Farmer, along with my dad, Terrence. I got my mom, Shayla, and I have my little brother, Jaden, with me as well. This episode is going to be, or time is of the essence, I should say. It's been a long week. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but how are you? How are you guys doing today? You guys good?
Hump day.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Good, good. Dad, I see you. You're not as close to the camera anymore, so I'm glad we had to, make a minor tweaks, but that's okay. No
We
worries.
worked on that.
Um, yeah, yeah, we did. So, all right, mom. Go ahead and ask us the first question on the ballot.
All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about, what are y'all's reactions to the college football rankings?
I'll go ahead and start. Uh, Michigan should be. I'm sorry. I made this statement a couple years ago regarding Ohio State. And I said the Big Ten is probably the most corrupt, not disregarding the SEC and what they have going on, ACC, all the Power Five, every Power Five conference is not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But I said that the Big Ten is the most corrupt conference in college football. If Michigan, with all that they have going on, is allowed to compete for the college football playoff championship or be in the college football playoff picture, period, you cannot convince me otherwise. That right there will just it'll let me know how much corruption is going on really. Because a few years ago, during COVID, the Big Ten made they passed like a a regulation where no team who no team who has less than 6 wins will play in the Big Ten championship. Ohio State had literally 5 wins, and the Big Ten adjusted their rules so that Ohio State can get into the Big Ten championship.
Hmm.
I get that Ohio State's it's a big money grabber. If Ohio State wins, every school in the Big Ten makes money. I get that, and money is everything in college sports. Believe me, I know. But if Jim Harbaugh, who is suspected that he may go back to the NFL next year, if the Michigan Wolverines, and I'm not taking any win that they've won or any game that they've won this season, but if they are allowed to compete under these circumstances in the college football playoff come January, we got to start having some real uncomfortable conversations. I digress.
I mean, that all depends on the investigation. Like, if NCAA finds that Michigan didn't do anything barring or didn't do anything um enough to where they aren't allowed to play in the CFP, then okay, NCAA, that's their call, right? That's pretty much it. It's all that's going to happen whenever the NCAA, comes out with their ruling or whatever. But on the other hand, with the CFP, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Um, I know a lot of Georgia fans still think they should be number one, but Ohio State, to this point, does have the better resume, the better strength of schedule than Georgia. Now, with Georgia though, Georgia this week against Ole Miss has a chance to take that top spot. Even though Ohio State has beaten those top 10 teams, right? It's better teams. They haven't looked, from the eye test like, oh, this is the number one team. Like Penn State, they struggled. Notre Dame, they struggled. I mean, dude, it's kind of, but Georgia can. beat Ole Miss. Um, I think the week 3 CFP is gonna have Georgia number 1, but with Georgia though, I ain't gonna lie though. I know Dad's gonna look. He gonna look at me side eye
Yeah, no, I'm looking at that
because for
too
all the
because I
viewers
don't know
out
what you
there.
talking about,
But
fam.
out for all the viewers out there, I'm a Tech fan, so I don't like Georgia. I'm I'm rooting for Ole Miss,
We
right?
see why.
I'm rooting for Ole Miss, right? Hey, bro, not too much on Georgia Tech. I understand, but still, I feel like Ole Miss. This could be a a trap game for Georgia. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised that the rankings didn't really change or anything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Bay.
Yeah. Well, the rankings are what they are. Honestly, it doesn't really matter right now. Um, Georgia's schedule sets up to where if they handle business, they'll be there in the end. Um, Ohio State, it's pretty much going to come down to Ohio State and Michigan. That winner will more than likely win the Big Ten and end up in the CFP. All the sanctions or whatever is going on there with Michigan, I don't have a problem with that. They're going to probably just suspend Harbaugh or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to, you know, deny Michigan an opportunity to be in the CFP. And let's be honest, I think everybody does it. You know, um, Michigan just stupid enough to get caught. I mean, they had the guy on the sideline for crying out loud. So, I mean, everybody does it. Um, but as far as the CFP is concerned, yeah, Ohio State's won, but honestly, people really don't care. I know. I take it back.
I would care if I had
People,
I would care too.
people,
I'm
somebody.
not gonna
If
lie
I
to you,
was a
Dad.
head
people,
dad,
people
dad, if
care,
I was a head coach, so
but,
you telling me if you was a head coach, right? You the head coach of Georgia,
uh
right?
huh.
And somebody in Georgia Tech sent an undercover sign stealer that's in Georgia apparel on your sideline that you don't know about, trying to steal signs. You wouldn't care about that.
I
That's not a
mean,
big of a deal.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
Dad. That's
crazy.
kind of
I'm
a
not
big
gonna
deal
lie. Like that's something out
I
of a
mean,
league.
okay,
because you
listen.
talk about because you
I
talk
mean,
about
stealing sign. I mean, okay. I can see the point from fans caring about Michigan stealing signs.
But no. My problem is not my
Michigan
problem.
doesn't have to steal those
Jaden. Hold on,
signs.
Jaden.
But see,
Go
my
ahead.
problem, my thing isn't the stealing signs. I feel like every football team, watches film on what they call on the sidelines to an extent,
Exactly.
legally,
Exactly.
right? But within the rules, right? My thing is, it's a problem when you send in a scout who's literally undercover in my team's apparel, right? And
Yeah.
he's on our sideline. Now that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But so do you punish the whole? You punish the whole
I
team?
I don't punish the team, right? Because the players had nothing to do with it, right?
Harbaugh.
But
I'm
I
sure
do,
Harbaugh knew what was
but
going on.
I do think you should punish Harbaugh because you're the coach.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to get approved without you approving it,
It's all
right?
about
It's
it's your leadership.
I agree.
it's the coach.
You're Jim Harbaugh. You you're just I don't want to put him on this pedestal, but he's Jim Harbaugh, and that should apply with every leader. You as the head coach, and you know something else. I personally, if the athletic director knew, I think he should be punished as well because you're the head. Because like I said, you're the athletic director. You hired the head coach, and on top of that, you're Jim Harbaugh. I'm not buying into the rumors that I didn't know I wasn't aware. Shut up. You sound goofy. Sounds like a man who I'm not belittling, but it sounds like somebody who's afraid of the lack of accountability. Even if you believe that you say within yourself, okay, I didn't do it, I didn't know about it, you should at least hold yourself to the standard saying, hey, well, I take full responsibility. I sit here and say that even though it wasn't, I don't know how that happened. I don't remember when that happened,
Mhm.
but he was still a part of my staff, and I take full responsibility, and I will handle whatever consequence is dished out. That's all I got to say about that.
They can suspend Harbaugh. That's fine. Suspend Harbaugh, but Michigan is going to keep on playing. They're going to play Ohio State, and the winner of the Michigan Ohio State game, which I believe it'll be Michigan again, will end up. And nobody's worried about the Big Ten championship game because no one on the other side really is a factor. Whether it's Ohio State or Michigan, they're going to win the Big Ten championship. That's a formality, and they're going to end up in the CFP, and they're going to lose again. So it doesn't really matter. So
I'm
Georgia's
not.
going to beat Ole Miss. Georgia goes next week, and
Hold
honestly,
up.
I believe Ole Miss. Now I gotta get back with Jaden here. Um, he's saying Ole Miss. And I'm not saying that Ole Miss is coming in. Of course, what nine? They're nine and all of that. But if Alabama wins at noon against Kentucky, which I believe they will, Ole Miss shot at the
Any
SEC
SEC.
championship is out the door.
Yep.
They ain't
Yep.
going to Atlanta.
So,
Okay. Now,
Oh, go ahead, mom. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, babe.
Ole Miss, Ole Miss, even though they can't go to Atlanta, they still have a lot to play for because if they run the table and win their last three and
3.
end up 11-1 with, and if they go into Athens and beat Georgia, I believe that was probably that would be the best win that any team will have in the country. So Ole Miss will be sitting at 11-1. Remember Alabama a couple of years ago, 2017?
Mm-hmm.
Georgia beat Auburn to win the SEC,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And Alabama sat home. And then after Auburn got beat by Georgia, Alabama ended up sneaking into the CFP
Mm-hmm.
and then ended up winning the whole thing.
Yep.
I can see that with Ole Miss. So it just might be beneficial if Ole Miss, now if Alabama wins, which I think they will, and if Ole Miss goes into Athens and beats Georgia, which I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, I'm a homer, but you've noticed Georgia has stepped up when
Yeah.
it's kind of like kids playing with their food.
Yeah.
The
I
first
mean. I mean. I.
4 or 5 games, they were kind of playing in their food. Okay, well, let's go play. Okay, but when it was time to strap it up against Florida,
Hold on, Jaden.
against Mizzou last week, and everybody wants Georgia to, just be the 21-22 teams. They're not. But, but Georgia is still formidable.
I
Georgia can really win the whole thing. And
I
I'm gonna tell you right now, people in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, they're all Bama, Bama, Bama. I'm here to tell you, to a man, they really don't want to play Georgia. They
here
do not.
I got
Georgia
I
is
got
not afraid of Alabama. I'm go ahead.
I got some. I want to share something real quick. When you talk about and Jaden, mom, I want to get to you too because you were going to say something. But to Dad's point, Jaden, I agree with both of your points. To Jaden's point, last week when Missouri came, Georgia gave Missouri a lot of chances to to actually win the game. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that Georgia won't win the whole thing, but you got to give credit to a lot of these teams who actually have had Georgia on the run. Now, what do you say?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
The reason why I think Ole Miss is going to have the best chance to beat Georgia, even though their defense can't stop a water leak, right? I don't think Georgia's offense. If the last thing for Georgia for this game, for the last thing that this game needs to be for Georgia is a shootout.
yeah,
Because if it's a shootout, Ole Miss is going to beat y'all.
but
Ole
but
Miss is
but
going to
but
be. This is the best team offensively that Georgia has played
but
up to this point.
but
If
listen,
Georgia allows this game to become a shootout, I don't. And if Brock Bowers doesn't play, which more than likely he's not,
Hold up.
I don't think
We got enough.
We
There's enough. Georgia has
Jaden.
enough
Yeah.
without Brock Bowers to
That
beat
I was
y'all.
gonna
Alabama.
say that. I was gonna say that. You got it. Sorry. No. What
Georgia
I
has
was
enough
what I was gonna
without
say.
Bowers to beat Ole Miss.
What,
And here's my thing: I respect what Ole Miss has done, but for me, I don't, because Ole Miss has failed to come through on the road in big games.
You're right.
here, yep.
You're right.
Yep.
It's
They wet the bed
understandable.
against Alabama.
You're
When
right.
Alabama was down and out. Milroe had been benched the week before. He came back. Ole Miss, I mean, I thought, oh man, Ole Miss is going to just destroy Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
You're
They
right.
wet the bed.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though.
Ole Miss on the road. Ole Miss on the road.
And
I
what
don't think
happens?
so.
What
I
is
think the
it?
back
But
is
What did
Ole
getting beat.
Miss.
Alabama? But
Oh,
what did Alabama do? What did Alabama do that second half? Right. That second half that hurt, that made Ole Miss become one dimensional. They took away the passing game. When Ole Miss could not pass the ball, and you had to force them to run the ball, that the game was over. And we don't give Alabama's defense enough credit. Yeah, Murrow's playing
No,
better.
you're right. You're right.
Milrow playing okay. They
Bama's
have
defense is
Milrow.
carrying the team.
Exactly. Milrow week 10, right? Milrow week 10 against
Milrow had four.
LSU.
He had 4 rushing touchdowns
You're right.
alone.
He had 4 rushing touchdowns, right? Right. You take that away from him.
He really don't
But
got no arm like that. I'm sorry.
I haven't, don't get me wrong, he's gotten better as a passer. Don't get me wrong, since week 1. He's gotten better overall, right?
Yeah.
As a passer, right? I'm all for a quarterback, use your legs. If it's not there, man, if you can run, man, go do what you do best, right? But when when that D line with the defensive coordinator, when he plans against you to keep you in the pocket, can you beat the other team with your arm? I haven't seen Jalen Milrow really beat a team with his arm, right? But my thing is this with Ole Miss, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how my point earlier. If
Last point
Georgia,
before so we can get to mom too,
yeah,
because
I still think, in my opinion, I think Bama's defense is still better than Georgia's by just a little bit. I ain't saying it's a gap, just a little bit, right? But I think that if Georgia allows this game to become a shootout, where you just with Ole Miss and all right, we gonna score, Georgia, all right, we're gonna come back and score, right? If your defense doesn't show up, I don't think Georgia has enough firepower, right, to keep up. I don't think Georgia has enough to keep up with Ole Miss. That's just me. That's
what?
me.
Georgia,
That's
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Wait,
but
Dad.
I ain't gonna lie.
Georgia's in
Wait,
the
Dad.
top
Wait, Dad.
10 in
Dad.
scoring
Dad.
offense.
Dad. Wait.
Dad,
Georgia's in the top 10 in
Wait.
scoring. They're better
Pause.
offensively than Ole Miss.
Dad, I
Dad.
understand
Hold on.
that. I understand that.
Pause.
I understand that. But I ain't gonna lie, Dad. If I start, this as well as I do, because I watch the games with you every Saturday, right? If you start
Yeah.
seeing Bobo pull out them screens, you, you if we start seeing him pull out them screens,
But hold on, Jaden. In the overall like totality of the offensive unit, you have to admit, to
Georgia's
Dad's point.
good. Georgia's
Let
great.
me finish. To Georgia's point. To Dad's point. Georgia has stepped up because hear me out. Even though last week was low key a shootout last week, Brock Bowers can rest for all I care. And on top of that, Brock Bowers was running at practice the other day, so he may play this weekend. He may not. Don't quote me on that. But
We don't need
But
we don't
here's the
need him this
thing.
what?
I'm
weekend.
not.
Wait.
But here's
What did
the
you say,
thing.
Dad? Dad, what'd you say? Hold on, Jaden. What'd you say, Dad?
We don't need Brock Bowers this weekend.
You okay. Now to Jaden's point, if I may not our offensive unit has the ability, unlike a lot of teams, has the ability to mask what Brock Bowers brings to that team. Do you like your chances with Brock Bowers? Absolutely. But to Jaden's point, this is Ole Miss. This is the number 9 team in the nation. This is a top 10
But
team.
I'm not even talking about. I'm not even talking about the rankings. No. Don't
I'm
say
not
that.
saying.
Do not say
I'm.
that. Do
I
not say
did.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
said
even
it
talking
now.
about
I
the
said it
rankings.
now.
No.
I hear what you're
No.
saying.
No.
I hear what you're
No.
saying. You're saying that Ole Miss, right? Ole Miss's offense isn't better. Their defense isn't better than their offense. You're saying that Ole Miss's offense is better than Georgia's, right?
I did not say that. I
He
did not say
said
that.
Georgia.
That's what you implied.
I said that no. All I implied was that Ole Miss's offense is explosive. The last thing that Georgia needs is for it to be a shootout. I don't care about the rankings. Okay, this is
But
my
they
stand,
but
right?
the
This
rankings
is my
speak for
final
themselves
stand. This is
though.
my final stand. This is my final stand.
Their ranking speaks for themselves though.
Exactly, but this is my final stand. I'm gonna let mom answer. All right, my final stand is this, right? I will not be surprised if Georgia beats Ole Miss. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb, right? I know football.
Nobody said you
Right.
were.
I will not be surprised if Georgia beats Ole Miss. But like I said earlier, as a Tech fan, I'm rooting for Ole Miss.
Oh, so this conversation is over. Of course you are.
As a Tech fan, I'm rooting for Ole Miss. But you cannot sit here and tell me that if Georgia's defense, especially the secondary, does not show up to play on Saturday, right? It's it's going to be a long day for that secondary. I'm just saying.
Now,
I'm just
mom,
saying.
mom, what were you
Mom,
gonna
go ahead.
say?
No, actually, about 7 minutes ago, I was going to try to wrap up this particular topic and get to our second topic, but you guys have been having really good conversation. So we're about 3 minutes before we need to wrap up. So keep going. I think you got what's the final word on
Y'all already
it?
heard what I had to say. You already
Okay,
heard what I
so
had to say.
Jaden gave his final word on it. Bae, you look like you're about to explode at the seam. What's your final word on this topic? Because I think you guys have just, created some really organic conversation. So for the whole show, we actually had two topics, but this was a little more spirited.
Our second topic was actually about is college football better than the NFL?
I mean, I
This
think,
whole conversation.
yeah, I think that,
What?
yeah, I think you. I think
Yeah, yeah.
we're kind of talking about it. So, babe, what's your final thoughts on the conversation?
Um, bottom line, obviously this is a big game for both teams. The CFP rankings really don't matter. Georgia handles business. Ole Miss handles business one way or the other. The rankings will take care of themselves. But for Georgia, um, when has Georgia not been ready?
That's a good
Good point.
question. That's a
That's a
good
good
point.
point.
That's a good point. I'm not gonna lie.
I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a good point. That's
He
a good
said,
point.
"Mic drop."
That's a good point. I'm not gonna lie to you, Dad. That's a good point. You got me there. You got me there.
Cameron,
But
what's your final word?
Nah, no, Jaden. What were you gonna say?
nothing. I'm just saying. He got. I ain't gonna lie. He stumped me right there. No, Georgia. It's like
You
I want.
can't bet against Georgia, bro.
I want. Okay, you're right. But I'm just trying. I'm just telling y'all. Now, if Ole Miss win this game, Ole Miss win this game. Don't look at me. Don't look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm
If Georgia runs Ole Miss out of Sanford Stadium, don't be surprised either.
okay. And I said I wasn't going to be. I said I would not be
You
surprised if
he
Georgia
said
beat
that.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, he did.
So, you know what I'm saying? But here's my thing. My final thing is this. I'm just saying. Uh, what? It depends on what type of offense that Georgia come out with out the gate, right? I don't think you can't have a game like y'all had against like South Carolina and like y'all, it was kind of slow at the gate, all that type of stuff. The defense helped you to come back in the game or whatever. But if Ole Miss, that secondary, that's the thing. Y'all have a good secondary. I'm not worried about the secondary, but they gotta show up to play. They gonna air it out. So
Yeah.
Ole Miss is the one that has issues. I
you're
mean, if
right.
you really look at it, A&M had them beat last week.
You're right.
A
They do have
and
issues.
M. Ole Miss
They
really.
do have
Oh,
issues. But guess
oh.
what?
They
But
only
guess
they
what?
only won by 7 at Auburn.
You're right.
Okay,
You're right.
Georgia won by what at Auburn?
All
They
right.
won by 7.
Georgia won by 7 at Auburn.
I wait. Don't quote me on that. Hold
All
on.
right.
Let me
All
check.
right. So as Cameron is checking this, we're about.
Yeah, they won that. They won by 7.
Georgia won by 7 at Auburn.
It's hard to win in Auburn though. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's
Ole Miss
hard to
won by
win.
7 at Auburn. They beat LSU.
They should have lost to
55 to
LSU.
49.
They should have lost to
See what
LSU.
I'm trying to say? You see what I'm trying to say?
You can't compare LSU's defense to Georgia's
But
defense.
no, but those are high scoring games. And every Ole Miss win, they have been high scoring besides Bama.
Right? They beat
That is
Tech too.
something Georgia does not need to happen. That
They
Okay.
is
scored 48 on Tech.
Okay.
But Georgia really hasn't had any high scoring games this season.
see y'all be trying to. I know Tech is not okay.
Uh,
All right now.
I don't know
All right.
Tech. Tech
All
can
right.
beat Clemson though.
okay. So
We can beat Georgia this year
hold
too.
on, Jay.
They not though.
We can beat Georgia this year too.
Jaden, they, you
You
guys
I'm
have
cat.
telling
both
you
had
right
your
now.
final. Y'all have had your final word. So Cameron,
I will
Wait,
put money
I
on
haven't,
it.
Mom.
no,
I
I
haven't.
know. That's
You.
what I'm saying. You have to wrap it up because we
I
gotta.
will
Oh.
put
We want
money
people
on
to
it
come
right
back and
now.
we want people to come back and watch the podcast. So we gotta watch our time. So Cameron, you have the final closing word.
Yeah. It was. I really. Dad was right, but I was right too. Jaden was wrong, but he made some good points. And you want to know how I know Jaden was wrong? Because he and I like we were synchronous when we said you got a point. Like when Dad was like, when has Georgia not showed
And
up?
that's
And
where we should have wrapped it up. That's where you
oh,
should have had
sorry.
the theme music
But all
coming
right,
in.
but we didn't wrap it up. But that I will put money on it right now that Georgia Tech will beat Georgia. Georgia Tech's gonna beat Georgia.
Boy, get out of here.
Sorry for a guy and two white men. Georgia Tech
Wait,
will
what?
Georgia.
Who? Say that again.
Swear for God and two white men.
No. Edit.
Georgia Tech will
All
beat
right, so we going to
Georgia.
church on Sunday, right? You know he going to church on Sunday, right? I don't know what does that statement mean?
No, don't dig into that.
I
Jade, you
can
be on
dig into
TikTok a
the
lot,
box
don't
that
you?
again, huh?
You be on TikTok a lot, don't you?
Nah, Shannon Sharp said it.
Who?
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
LOL. All right, folks. That's the end of this episode.
You
Look
don't
at
know what
Mom's
that
face.
means?
Bruh, no, I don't want to know what that means, fam.
You don't know what that means?
No.
I've heard it before, but I
No, you
don't.
didn't. No, you haven't because if you did, you would know what it means.
No.
All
Well,
right.
regardless of what it means, we do not and will not swear on God.
Swear on
Take it
God,
away,
bro.
Cameron.
Nah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. That's the end of this episode. We'll be back next week with another fresh episode. But until then, y'all have a great night. God bless y'all. Be safe. Love.